Kellen from eCommerly.io here. In this video, we're going to walk through how to configure your e-commerce platform. So we're going to be looking at Shopify. If you're interested in giving it a try, click the link below and you'll get a 14-day free trial. If you need more hand-holding and in-depth guidance on how to start and scale your store, things like finding products, talking to suppliers, building out a retention strategy, and really building your business for the long term, we also have an in-depth course that you can check out. I'll leave a link to that as well. If you want to join our private Facebook group, go ahead, ask questions. We build new content around that, so make sure you're in there and be vocal. And last but not least, subscribe to the channel so you get new updates when we do build those new videos. Without further ado, let's hop right into it. I'm going to hop on my computer. Let's get started. First, I want to talk about registering a domain. This is a simple but very important step because this is what's going to lead customers to your website, and it's an extension of your brand. So there are lots of ways to register a domain. And again, a domain is just like, so right now we're on GoDaddy. So GoDaddy.com is the domain, Google.com is the domain, Facebook.com, etc., etc. So there are lots of different sites that you can use to register a domain. I'm sure you've heard of GoDaddy. It's Mother's Day weekend, so they've changed it to GoMommy for now, but it's GoDaddy.com. That's not my favorite one though, but they're very popular. So let's talk about a few of my favorites. So the first one would be Namecheap, Namecheap.com, and they're really great. I just like them. They have a lot of, they have good support. So if you ever have issues, and they have good cheap domains, which is in their name. So let's say from before we were looking at when we were using lean domain search, and we decided we wanted to call our store Mega Novelty. Okay, so all you would do is you type in Mega Novelty and then click search. And from here, it'll tell you if it's available or not, as well as the different website extensions. So you can see here, meganovelty.com is available, and you can purchase it for $8.88 per year. So if you wanted to do that, you would just add it to cart. You can see there are different websites too. So if you wanted like .ai instead, you could buy it for $68 a year, or .app, or whatever the case is. Now, I like Namecheap. However, I've recently come across another domain registrar that I like even more. It's called porkbun.com. It's kind of a funny name, but you'll remember it. They're a newer company, but I've started using them, and I'll show you why. So let's type in Mega Novelty again. So the same thing that we did on Namecheap. And you can see, so if we go back to Namecheap, $8.88 per year to register meganovelty.com. But on Porkbun, you can get meganovelty.com for $4 a year for your first year. And then it's actually cheaper in subsequent years as well. So I like Porkbun, but really it's up to you, whatever you're more comfortable with. In this stage, it doesn't really matter which one you use, but I would recommend either Porkbun or Namecheap. And then all you would want to do is in either one, you would just click add to cart or the plus button or whatever the case is. And so maybe I'll do it on both. We'll see which one goes first. And you can just go check out. So you just want the registration. And the nice thing about Porkbun is it comes with a lot of extras, like Whois privacy, so that people won't be able to like look up who owns the domain. It comes with like email forwarding and a bunch of other stuff, all up front. Whereas with Namecheap, you can add some different things. They have a few other options as well. You don't need to worry about web hosting or any of this SSL stuff just yet. All we want to do right now is register the domain. So we would just check out and purchase the domain. And the reason for that is we just want to make sure that before we get too far into building our store, we've secured our brand name, right? That's super important. The other nice thing about Porkbun, even though it's cheaper as well, it also comes with the SSL certificate, which you're gonna need for e-commerce. That's the little secure button. So that's you can see the little lock here saying connection is secure. And that gives you HTTPS instead of HTTP. And for e-commerce, for anything where you're checking out with a credit card, you need to be SSL secure. It's just an encryption tool. So anyways, this video is going a little long, but literally you would just create an account and check out. You can use on Porkbun, you can use like a credit card or PayPal, or even pay in cryptocurrency if you want. So like Bitcoin, things like that. And then on Namecheap, similarly, you can pay with like credit card, and I believe they have PayPal. So that's it for this. Go and register your domain name, and we'll go from there. All right, so we finally made it to Shopify. Let's get started setting up our store. So before we do a full walkthrough, I just want to make sure that we're adding in our domain name that we purchased a few modules back. Okay, so to do that, all we're going to do is come to Online Store, and then choose Domains. And from here, you'll have an option to connect an existing domain. So assuming you've already purchased your domain from Namecheap or Porkbun or GoDaddy or wherever, this is what you want to click. So connect existing domain. From here, you're going to enter in that domain. So I've actually purchased a new domain name and set up a brand new Shopify store for this walkthrough, so we'll use that. So it's going to be like a spaghetti store. So spag.io is the name, and I'll just click next. And from here, it's going to give you instructions on how to connect your domain, which I'm just going to follow through with you. So it's really simple. All you need to do is change your A record to Shopify's IP address, and your CNAME should point to shops.myshopify.com. So if you get lost, there's a step-by-step down below that you can follow through. One thing to note is that because all domain registers are different, it's going to look a little bit different depending on where you are. So I'll show you the two options that we looked at earlier with Namecheap and Porkbun, just so you can familiarize yourself. So if we were doing this in Namecheap, all we would do is click, go into Namecheap, make sure you're logged in, and then go to your account dashboard, where you can see all of your purchased domains. So you can see Novelty Spark from earlier is set up here. So all I would do is click Manage. And then I'm just going to click on Advanced DNS. And from here, you can see I've already set up the A record to point to the IP address and the CNAME record to point to shops.myshopify.com. But if you haven't done this, you would just click on Add New Record, and whatever the record you want to create, you would add. So you would add a new A record. Now, the important thing to note, if you already have an existing A record that is not pointing to Shopify, you'll either need to delete it and make a new record, or you'll need to edit it so it points to Shopify. You don't want to have multiple A records that point to different places. Okay, so you would do that, and then you would just click the check mark to save it. And then you would do the same with the CNAME record. Now, obviously, I've already set up a store under this DNS with Namecheap. So let's look at Porkbun, because that's where I actually registered spag.io. So all I would do is make sure that I'm logged into my account again, and you can see here are the domains that are being managed. So I have Blackhead Remover Machine, like we looked at earlier, and then spag.io. So here I'm just going to click on Details, and then DNS records, 7 records set, and I'm going to click Edit. From here, I'm going to scroll down and see that there are already existing records. So rather than create new ones, I'm just going to edit these. So this first A record, I'm just going to edit, and I'm going to add Shopify's IP address and click Save. This second one, this is just a wildcard. So if it was like a subdomain or something like that, you don't have to necessarily change it. You can delete it, but I'm just going to change it on mine, and you can do the same if you want to, and we'll click Save. And then the next step, we just need to change the CNAME. So we'll go back to the step-by-step and find shops.myshopify, and I'm just going to click this to copy. Go back and edit, and I'm going to change the CNAME to this. and click save. And we can just double verify, change your, so we should be changing the CNAME host. We'll edit this, should be www, and click save. Okay. So that's it. It's 2 steps. And now all you want to do is come back and click verify connection. Now, sometimes this can take a while just because DNS don't propagate automatically. So it might give me an unverified connection right now. We'll see. So I'll just click verify connection. There we go. So it was successfully connected. So that's it. Now my domain is set up to point to Shopify. So if I were to go to spag.io, it will bring me to my Shopify password page, which, because I haven't built the site out or anything like that, this is the landing page. But we've now verified that this works. All right. So make sure that this connection works for you. Even if your site's not live yet, this is just good because it can take some time. And if you have any questions or get stuck, make sure to reach out in the Facebook group and someone will be able to help you out. All right. This is important moving forward. And in the next lesson, we're going to do a full walkthrough of Shopify. All right. So here we are again back in the Shopify backend. We've added our domain and we're ready to start building our store. Are you excited? I really am excited. Think of how far we've come already. This is really where we can start to see our brand taking shape. So you're going to see a lot of options in Shopify from the start. Don't get overwhelmed. You can basically ignore 90% of them for now. Obviously, orders, products, customers, analytics, marketing, discounts, and apps will be very, very, very important in the near future, but for right now, we can basically ignore them. All you're going to want to do is look at either online store or settings. Now, which one you start with first is completely up to you. If you start with settings, this is things like setting up different details, your payment providers, your checkout, shipping, taxes, things like that. Setting up your billing and like some legal things, like creating some different privacy policies and things like that. I typically save this until after I've started working on the online store. But again, if you want to start with this, go for it. We'll walk through this together. But first, we're going to start with the online store. So we're going to click online store and wait for it to load. So the first thing we want to do is just look at the current theme. So you can see we have the debut theme, and this is the default Shopify theme. Okay. So if we like this theme, we can start with it. But if we want to change our themes, we can come to the theme library. So here, there's a free themes and there's Shopify theme store. So this is where there would be like paid themes. Whichever route you go is completely up to you. There are a lot of great starter themes. If you want something more customizable and something a little more unique, then you might go with a paid theme from the theme store. Again, it's up to you. But for now, we'll just click on Explore Free Themes. And you can see some of the options. So depending on what your niche is and what your product, you might want a different store layout. And you can see. So for instance, if we click on Jumpstart, so this debut is our current theme, it'll tell us. If we click on Jumpstart to learn more, you can see this is designed for like a crowdfunding campaign. So it's built for very small catalogs, a slideshow, it's got a goal tracking tool, and then an as seen on section. So this could be good like if you're running something in conjunction with like a Kickstarter or something like that. Or we could check out like narrative. Again, this is a good one for like a small product catalog or even a single product. It's up to you. And it comes with 3 different styles. So warm, light, and cold. So you can see there, it sort of changes the defaults, and you can edit all of this later, which we'll get to. And then you have more themes. So like Brooklyn is a really popular theme. There's classic and playful. So it just says it's a contemporary, elegant theme that's tailor-made for modern apparel stores. So if you're selling apparel, this is probably the store you want to go to. Now, just because it's made for apparel doesn't mean you only can sell apparel on it. It's set up to work really well with apparel. And then, of course, it's got two styles, classic and playful. So all you would want to do is pick your style. So let's go with the playful Brooklyn. Click Add to Theme Library. We're just waiting for it to load, so it's just added. And then Actions, we're going to click Publish. Now this isn't going to make anything live. It's just going to replace your theme. So this is just asking if I want to publish Brooklyn. This will replace my current theme debut. So I'm going to click Publish because I haven't done anything on debut, so I'm not too worried if there's no work that needs to be redone. So I'll just click Publish. And now that's my new theme. So there's two options here. There's Actions and Customize. Actions you typically don't want to go into too often. I'll show you a few very specific reasons why you would want to go in here, but this is actually where like the code is housed. So you don't want to be messing around in here, because if you accidentally mess up some of the liquid code or anything like that, then your theme might not function properly. But just to show you, you can see, so like here's the code for the blog and stuff like that. And so like if you have developers, they might want to come in here and they can do some like customizations and things like that. But for the most part, you don't need to worry about Actions too much, other than a few times, which I'll show you in separate videos. And then we have the Customize section. So this is really where you're going to spend a lot of time in the beginning. So if you click the purple Customize button, it's actually going to bring you to what your website looks like. And this is where you can start to customize everything. Okay. So Shopify does a great job of having like placeholder images, so you can start to visualize where things are laid out. So you can see here, like you'd have your logo up here, and then like a big hero banner, and then like navigation. And as you scroll through, there's some different spot for text and collections, different products. Very common. You've seen e-commerce websites before. And then the great thing is like the subscribe to newsletter, this is already built for you. So it's already attached, and you can hook it up in the back end to different apps for like email service providers, which we can talk about later as well. But it's really the foundation for your site is already here. Okay. And then of course, if you want to switch, you can see what it would look like on mobile. And you can see, so it gets like a hamburger menu and drop down and things like that. So we're going to go back to the desktop view. And then along the left-hand side, this is where you can customize everything. So it's very, very intuitive. So we would start with the header. And if we click into the header, you could add a logo or explore. I'm just going to click free images because I don't have any logos. So let's say we want to do, we said spaghetti, right? So let's do food and drink. Maybe this looks good. I'll select this. So, I mean, obviously this isn't typically what you would want to have for a logo, but for demonstration purposes, that's totally fine. So the point is you can add your logo in any way you want, and it automatically comes in, and then you can resize it if you need to. You could edit it to add in some like SEO tags and things like that. And again, for your custom logo width, you can just play around with this. If you want to make it small, you could do like 100. And if you want to make it like really big, you could do like 500 pixels, things like that. Okay. So and then you can just keep going through, and I encourage you to just start playing with these buttons and see what changes take place. I'm not going to take you through every single button and what everything does, because you'll be able to figure it out really easily, and you can play around with that. But you can also change like your link text and things like this, as well as have like an announcement on the homepage. So if we wanted to say show announcement, we could announce something here. So maybe, welcome to spag.io or something, or you could do free shipping, things like that, whatever you want to do, completely customizable. And then you can add a link as you go. If you wanted to add a link to a different product or a page, you can see here, I just clicked, and you can literally pick from the list. So as you add products in and pages, you'll be able to select them. You won't have to memorize URLs or anything like that. It's very easy and intuitive. So that's sort of like how you start to edit, and you'll notice this theme carries throughout. So I'm just going to click the back button, and then you would go through. So again, the slideshow, you can set the width and the height and everything, change how many slides you want, change how often it shows. So obviously you would just click add slide. And then if you ever want to reorder things, the order that the slides appear in, these 6 little dots here, you would just click that and grab. And if you had more than one, you could just drag and decide which goes where. And then of course the down arrow shows like the image selection again. You can position it, show an overlay, change the opacity. So really just intuitive. Add text. So I highly recommend just playing around with this, because this is where you're going to build your brand the most. Okay. And then similar to how we can move those pictures around by grabbing on, you can actually move entire sections as well. Okay. So if we scroll, right now we have the featured collection. So if we just look, so first we have custom HTML, which is just this right here. It's just a little text. You can show or hide it, first of all. You can click into it to edit it. So if we wanted to change the wording, we just edit the text and say this is different now. And you can see that it's changed here. Or you can, of course, get rid of it altogether if you want to delete the section. But you can also drag and drop to change. So if we wanted the featured collection to be above this custom HTML, we just grab and simply move it like this. And you can see it shows that it's going to move it over top, and we just let it go. And now the HTML is on the bottom. But I don't think I want the HTML. So I just clicked in, and I'm just going to click remove section, and it's gone now. I don't have to worry about it. Okay. If I ever want it back, I would just click on add section. So do you see how easy this is to start moving around your site? And this is just your home page, right? But you can choose, so you have your home page, you can set up your password page. This is just your landing page. So, you don't have to worry about this or editing this after your site goes live. But if you want to customize your password page before your site goes live, feel free to do that. Your collection pages, this is where all your products will be housed. So we don't have any products yet, but it's really easy to choose. You can change the layouts between grid and collage, enable different sorting, like for your customers to be able to sort through the products and things like that. Very intuitive. And then every page, right? Your cart page and your 404 page. And then once you set up your payment info, you'll be able to edit sort of like your checkout page as well. So all of these pages are customizable. So this is how you can easily start building your brand, spend a lot of time in here. And then the other important thing, maybe just as important or even more important. So we've been just looking at sections so far. You'll also want to look at theme settings. And this is where you can set the theme settings for your brand. So this is where you're setting like your main colors and your typography. You can edit your cart page, add your social media, add a favicon. So a favicon is just this little logo that sits in the tab. So you see the little Shopify bag. That's their favicon. Shogun has this little purple and white logo. That's their favicon. So to add that, you literally just copy and paste an image, and the Shopify will make it for you. And then you can look at like editing your checkout page as well, as I mentioned. But here you can set your colors. So your general background, the theme of your website, what your heading colors will be, the body text, any line colors. So if you have like anything underlined, the default colors for that, your button labels, the colors of any buttons you might have, product backgrounds, links, and accents. So like literally this is where you're going to customize everything. And I really just recommend that you get in here and start playing around and seeing what changes happen. So that's how you set your framework up to start building your site. And then again, like you can add your social media. So once you add your social media in, and again, you just type in like the URL. So you would want to do https://facebook.com/ whatever your Facebook page that you set up earlier is. Same for Twitter, same for your Instagram and any other social. Once you do that, it's automatically going to populate the buttons on the web page. So you'll see the little social icons on the web page. You don't have to code those in or anything like that. So it's really easy, really simple, and really intuitive. So this is really how you customize the look and feel of your website. To get back to your main page, you're just going to click on the Shopify button, and I'm just going to leave. I've made some changes that won't be saved. Obviously, you'll always want to save with the big purple button up in the top right here, but I don't really care about that right now, so I'm just going to click leave. And that's how you customize the site. Now, a few things in the actions section that we can actually look at. If we click on edit code, one thing that I like to do, and I know I told you not to go in here, but this is easy enough to do. Now, every theme is a little bit different, but essentially in the template section, you're going to want to look for something called, you're going to want to look for the sections. And then you're going to scroll down until you see footer.liquid. And in here, you're going to see a bunch of complicated looking code. But all you want to look for is the name Shopify or powered. There we go. So if you search for power, you'll see this powered by link. And I like to just grab from the curly brackets over and just delete it and click save. And the reason I like to do that is because if you don't do that, the bottom of your site will have a little, so it will say like, copyright 2019, your site name, and then it will say powered by Shopify. I just like to remove that because it looks a little bit cleaner and more professional to not have something that says powered by Shopify there. Okay. So that's one of the few times I would go in and edit the code. And again, we just save that code. And that's really the only thing you want to do in there. The only other thing I would like to do as well is if you come back to actions and click edit languages, and just hear me out. We're not actually going to change a language. It's just kind of confusing. There's one thing you'll likely want to remove because it can confuse customers. So the goal is to really have as frictionless a process as possible. And oftentimes what will happen, or by default what will happen, if you land on a product page, and I can't really show you because I've already removed it on my demos, on blackheadremover.com and Novelty Spark. But by default, on the product page, it will tell the customer underneath the price of the product that shipping will be calculated at checkout, and it will give them a link, and that can kind of cause some grief, because a lot of people will click on this and it will just take them to a different shipping page altogether. So what I actually like to do is just come to, and I don't know if you saw how I did that, I just came to languages and then I clicked on products, and I just scroll down to shipping policy HTML, copy this entire section and just delete it. And I just want to make sure there was nothing else there that I wanted to save. And then I just click save. And by doing that, it just removes that friction altogether. So they're still going to see the price, and then, but they're not going to have the shipping calculated, or they're not going to hear anything about shipping until they actually get to the checkout. It's a little thing, but just trust me, it really helps with conversions a lot. Okay. So that's the only 2 times that I recommend going into the settings in the in the actions section. Okay, so you're going to want to spend a lot of time in the customize section and start getting customized. I'm going to show you something really cool that you can use. Think of this as like a bonus. If you don't like the free Shopify themes, but you're not really ready for a paid theme, this is a good option. So it's getshogun.com, and they work on Shopify, Shopify Plus, and BigCommerce. Obviously, we're going to look at Shopify for now, but essentially they allow you to build really highly optimized landing pages, and they're just a drag and drop builder. So if we come to Shopify, we can customize our Shopify store using their pages. So they have a 10-day free trial, and you can see some of like the larger brands that they've used or that have used Shogun rather. And again, it's just, this isn't something you have to do, but if you are sort of in between where you don't love the free themes, but you don't want to commit to buying like a premium theme, this is a really good option for you. They do a lot of great stuff, and the cool thing is you can you can browse their templates. Like I said, try it out for 10 days, and if you like it, they have a couple paid options. So it is a paid service, but it's a subscription-based service. So essentially, and look, I'm just scrolling through all of these templates. There's so many templates, and they all look really, really good. So I highly recommend them. But essentially, if you're interested in them, they have 3 plans. And trying to get to the the payment page. But their plans start at $19 a month, which is really good. And that gets you like a landing page. You can see here, like, here's all of the features you can edit, and it's all drag and drop, no code. So here's the payment page. So the starter plan is $19 a month. And this is like really good for landing pages. So if you have like a single product site similar to say blackheadremovermachine.com, the demo store that I set up that we've looked at a few times now, a landing page for that might be really awesome. Or if you have like a few core products that you really want to focus on, building a landing page out could be really great. So with the starter plan, you get the landing page builder, unlimited pages, 30-page templates, elements, SEO control, designed by screen size, so it'll be all optimized for like mobile devices and things like that, version controls and email support. If you want a little bit more, you could look at like the essential, and this is like you could build your entire store. So this would be more the option if you really didn't like any of the templates and you didn't necessarily want to shell out for a premium template. this is an option as well. You can actually like edit all of your product pages and your blog and collections and things like that as well. You probably don't need the Pro to start with, but if you wanted the Pro, that's an option too. But even the starter is a really good option. Again, this is not something that you need at all. It's just an option that's there for you if you want to try a few things out, but you don't have the coding abilities, and or you don't want to throw money after a theme that you're not sure you'll be happy with. Even factoring this in, if we add everything up so far, let's say, what did the domain cost? It was like $4 plus, let's say $29 for Shopify first month. And then let's say another 19 for Shogun if we wanted to. And then let's say it cost us $30 for to get a logo designed. So even if we did all that, if we paid to get our logo designed instead of doing it ourselves, if we don't take into consideration a 10-day free trial for Shogun and a 14-day free trial for Shopify, we're still only $82 invested. That's pretty incredible. There's no easier way to start building your business, because as you'll see in the next module, we are going to be able to start testing this out without actually having to buy products necessarily. Okay, so that's just a quick video I wanted to show you. Check out Shogun if you like them. Okay, so part 2. You can see here we've been looking at themes, and then we have like blog post pages, navigations. We've already been in domains, and then we have preferences as well. So if we start from the bottom with preferences, this is where you can add a few things in. So you can add your homepage title, and this is good for SEO. So you would want to, essentially the title of your store, and then sort of like what your store is about. And then you would want to give a description about your store. So, what niche you're in or what products you serve, sort of like just a little bit about your brand. And that's going to help with like search engine ranking and things like that. This is also where you would come, and we have 2 separate modules dedicated to these things, so I'm not going to go over them in depth, but to add in your Google Analytics tracking code and your Facebook pixel, you would do that in the preferences section. And then this is also where you can come to disable your password. So obviously right now our store is password protected because it's not ready to go. So you would just come to here and you would just uncheck the enable password. Now the one thing to note is you need to be on a paid plan to disable your password. So if you have used like got like a developer store or something like that, then you would have to go on a paid plan first to be able to disable your password. You can also change up your password from the default if you want, and add like a message. And then there's just this checkout protection thing. So this is just Google CAPTCHA. That's the thing that pops up asking if you're a robot or not. It's up to you if you want to use it. It does help protect your store from spam and being abused, but it will affect your conversion rates marginally. So it's really up to you, but that's how you would do that. And then navigation. This is really important. This is how people will actually navigate around your site. So again, you've seen this in 100 stores. If we hop on Novelty Spark or Blackhead Remover Machine, you would see, but essentially, so you have your main menu and your footer menu. So to edit these, and you can add another menu if you wanted to, but to edit these, you would just click in. So we say main menu. And you can see we have home, catalog. We could easily add another menu item. So maybe I wanted to use like about us. I would enter that. And then a link. I haven't set up any other pages, but if we had like a page dedicated to about us, we would just choose that page. And it won't let me do this right now just because I haven't set anything up yet. So maybe I'll just do that. No. Okay. So I'll tell you what, I'm going to just create new page really quick, and this will actually be good. So we're just going to go into pages, and this is where you can add any pages and create them. So this is separate from like the product section. This would be like your about us or like a contact thing like that. So just click add page. And if you wanted to do like a contact us, you would just type in contact us as the title. And then if it was like an about us, you would want to add like your content in here, and you can format it however you want. But the cool thing, if you do a contact us, if you want to, you can actually come to this template section. And this is in every Shopify store, and just choose the template suffix and just say page.contact. And if you click save, that will actually generate a contact page for you. So if we click view, there you go. So it's already set up the form and everything. So you don't actually have to code that in or edit that. So you don't have to worry. So now if we go back to navigation and click on main menu, we should see, if I click add menu item, I can say contact us. And then in the link, if I go to pages, now it shows up. So it's just that easy to add. And then I would click add, of course. It's really easy to add a new thing to your menu. And then the cool thing is, if you wanted to have a sub menu, so from like a drop down, for instance. So first, let's just save this. And let's just preview. So if we click the little I, we can actually take a look at the online store. So you can see here, and I just want you to pay attention because I'm going to change something in a second. So you can see we have home, catalog, and contact us, right? Just as we've set up. If we come back, whoops. Let's say we want contact us to go first. We would literally just grab it and drag it to the top and then click save. And now if we go back and refresh our page, contact us is moved to the top. And then the other thing you can do is, let's say we wanted to have a sub menu. So let's say we actually don't want contact us above home at all. Let's say we want it to be nested inside of catalog. So we would just grab it again, and you're just going to move it over to the right until you see the little purple line with the circle move as well. And now that's a subgroup of catalog. So obviously contact us probably wouldn't ever go in catalog. You would maybe have, if you were doing like a general store, maybe you would have different niches or different sections. So like even if you're an apparel store, maybe you would have like catalog, and then you would have like hats, shirts, pants, things like that. But that's how easy it is to set up. So again, if we click save and then come back and click refresh, you can see now it's back to just home and catalog, but there's a little arrow next to catalog, and when we hover over, there's contact us. Okay, so again, we didn't have to code any of this in. I drag and dropped it, and it took us 2 seconds, and it updated. So that's your navigation and your pages. Again, you would probably want to create like an about us. And oops, sorry, we don't want to filter that. We want to say add page. About us. And you can create whatever you want in these pages. You can add in text, links, you can add video, you can add pictures, you can add charts and tables. So if you want to do like a sizing chart, go for it. There you go. So this would be our about us. And you can see it's automatically updating the SEO preview. And if you want to edit this further, if you click edit website SEO, and this is available on all your different pages and products stuff, you can actually add in separately a different title and description, and that will update the SEO without updating what's in the page section. If you leave this blank down here, it will just automatically pull in what's in the page section. Okay, so we'll click save. And that's about it for pages. Blog posts are similar. So if you wanted to have a blog on your website, again, you could add to the navigation, either in the header or the footer, you could add blog, and then you would just create your blog posts. Come in and the same way, so you can easily just give it a title. You can add an image to your blog post. If you have multiple authors or different types of blogs, you can set that all up. You can tag it with different things, so it's very intuitive and easy to use. And then again, you would just click save, and your blog post will show up under the blog section. So that's really it for the online store. This is how you edit things. Obviously, once we get into like products, and I'm going to show you how to import products, which will be really easy. But let's say you already had a store or had a brand and you had a bunch of products. If you wanted to add them in, all you would do is just click products and then just click add product. And from here, you would just enter the title of the product and the description, and then you could set up like the availability of the product all along the side, set in the images, set the pricing, if you charge tax or not, and then include all of your SKU and your inventory information, as well as shipping, if it's a physical or digital product, weight, all of this stuff, and who fulfills it. So this is, again, if you needed to manually add in products, if you already had a brand or a store and you had a bunch of products, this is how you would do it. Luckily, there's a better way and a faster way that I'm going to show you later on in the next module when we look at like proving our concept, how we can easily import a whole bunch of products and we don't have to go through this manual process each time, which will be really great. Okay. So let's start looking at settings. Actually, before we get there, the only other thing we would want to look at is like collections. So once you have products, you can build out some different collections. And a collection can be anything. It's just a collection of products. So you can have like, if your homepage, anything you wanted to include on your homepage could be a collection. You could have a collection that is all shirts or pants, or a collection of guitars, anything you want. So it doesn't have to be like items either. You can be like all of your sale items go in one collection. But you'll want to start, especially as you start growing, if you're going to have multiple products, start thinking about how you can manage things in collections. And collections are simply a collection of products. So you would add your products first, and then your products would just be sorted into these collections as per your rules. And again, if we go back to like the store, you could see like if you had a featured collection, it would just show up with like some of the products from that collection on your homepage and things like that. So that's just the only thing to think about there. And that's really all you need to know about the online store. You should be able to set everything up and get things looking really good and get the framework started to be able to start adding in some products. So the other thing that we want to look at now is the settings section. And this is equally important. It's just not as exciting because it's more of like the back end stuff. So again, you're going to want to go through each and every section here and fill all of this stuff out. How you start and finish is completely up to you. What I usually do is start with like legal. And the reason I do that is because usually I'm also building out like my contact us page like we looked at. And the cool thing is these legal pages, you can actually generate these from a template. So, you know, the refund policy, privacy policy, terms of service, and then if you have a shipping policy. So let's just look at, and I'm not going to do all of them, but if we click on refund policy, if we click create from template, Shopify is actually going to give us a template that we can use. And the awesome thing is, so you'll probably want to go through this and edit it. There will be some things you'll want to change, but once you, if you copy this template, edit it, and then copy the new edited version back in here, and then click save, watch this. This is really cool. If we go back to online store and let's do navigation. Let's do footer menu. add menu item and do refund policy. If we click on policies, the refund there is already there for us. We didn't even have to add it as a page or anything. So now we click add and we can click save menu. And now if we go back to our store and click refresh, you can see that the refund policy has been added to our footer. And if we click on that, it's a full policy. Easy peasy. Not a lot of work, but really super important to get your policies on store, okay? And that's sort of like the first way that the settings tie into online store. And I usually get all my policies out of the way, and then I don't have to worry about jumping back and forth as much. So then you can just go through. So this is where you're going to fill out like your general information, your store details, like your name and your email, your address, and you'll need to fill out an address even if you're just selling online. Like even if it's your house, you will need to fill out an address in order to get paid. Okay. But then this is also in the general section where you can set like your standards and formats. So like the time zone you're in, if you want to use metric or imperial system, your default weights. So depending, if we switch to imperial, this will switch to pounds. You can set your order prefixes. So this doesn't matter too much. I have never changed this ever, but if you wanted to, you could. And then this is really important, your store currency. Okay. So because I'm in Canada, my stores all default to Canadian currency. However, all of the suppliers that I purchase my supplies from are in the United States, and the United States dollar is worth more than the Canadian dollar. So it's really challenging to make a lot of money if you're in Canada selling in Canadian dollars when a lot of your suppliers and customers are in the United States. So all I would do here is I would literally, you can choose, and it's important to note that after your first sale, you can't change your currency. Okay. So really take some time and think about where your biggest market is going to be. If my biggest market was going to be in Great Britain, I would probably go with the British pound. If it was in Europe, I would go for a euro. But I like to default to the US dollar. So I'm just going to choose US dollar. You can change this as much as you want until you make your first sale. So it's really, really important. I cannot stress this enough. Give this some thought because this is the currency that people will be paying you in. So if you set something to $10 and you forget to change this from Canadian dollars to US dollars, then people will only be paying you 10 Canadian dollars, and you're missing out on a lot of potential money that way. Okay. So I always recommend you change this. If you're in Australia or the UK or something, or Europe, then you'll probably want to stick with like your native, unless you're planning on selling a lot in the US, then switch it to US, but cannot stress this enough. Okay. And then so we would click save. And that's just that easy. So that's general. And then again, we're just going to go back. So payment providers is also really important because this is how you can actually get paid. So the first thing you're going to want to do is click add provider under accepts credit cards. And you're going to want to choose Shopify payments. Now there will be some countries, not typically, like if you're in Europe, Canada, the United States, Australia, Great Britain, you're going to have access to Shopify payments. If you're in like Japan, things like that, you should as well. There are some countries that don't have Shopify payments, so you would have to go with a third-party credit card provider. But for all intents and purposes, always choose Shopify payments, and then you would just click continue. And from there, it will walk you through setting everything up. So again, sometimes it's a little bit slow to load when I'm recording these videos, but this is where you would like complete your account setup. So if we click on edit, you can see it's just like breaking it down. If you wanted to use like a test mode to test some things out, you could enable test mode. But if we click complete account setup, this will take you to some other options. Okay, so this is where you would want to enter in some more info. You don't have to have a business number yet, but you would need to enter your address and then like personal details, as well as some product details. This doesn't have to be in depth. It can just be, if you're in the health and beauty niche, you can just say I sell health and beauty products, as well as how you want your information to appear on customers' credit card statements. And then the last part is your banking information. So this is how the funds will actually get deposited into your bank. Okay. So you can choose what your payout currency is. So if you're in Canada, for instance, like I am, I can enter my bank account details, but I can still get paid out in US dollars if I want to. If I have, like, for instance, there's a bank in Canada called Tangerine, and it's a Canadian bank, but you can get a US account, and then you can get actually paid out in US dollars. The other option is I can just get paid out in Canadian dollars. So what would happen here, because on my store, I've set it to charge in US dollars. So when my customers buy from me, they're giving me US dollars. When Shopify pays me out, they're going to convert the US dollars to Canadian dollars, and that's what will end up in my bank. Okay. So again, if you're in the United States, you just choose United States and enter your bank stuff. You can't change your payout currency if you're in the United States. Only if you're depending on where you're based, it has different options. Okay, so you would just want to complete this. This is really important because obviously this is how you get paid from Shopify. Okay, so set that up. And then you're also going to want to set things up like PayPal. So I'm not going to walk through all of these, but you can enable PayPal Express checkout. You're just wanting to give your customers more options to pay. And then you even have like more alternative payments. You can pay. You can offer like Bitcoin if you want to. So like if you like cryptocurrency and want to accept Bitcoin, then you can do that. You can also do like COD. I don't recommend doing that. And then lastly, you have payment authorization. So you want to set this to automatically capture payments for orders. Because if you leave this as manually capture payment for orders, you'll literally get an update when someone places an order, and then you'll have to go in, look at the order, and then like approve the order in order to pay to get paid from the customer. And that's fine when you have like one order, but as you scale your store, you don't want to be doing that. You want their their credit card or whatever to be authorized and charged automatically. You don't want the headache of having to go in and capturing the payment, especially because it's time based too. So just set this to automatically and then click save. So that's really payment providers. And then you're going to want to go, I focused on those two because they have a few like interesting things, and because it's dealing with how you receive money on your store and how you get paid, it's really important to go more in depth. But then the other stuff is fairly self-explanatory. So you can just go through it. You can edit your shipping easily. And Shopify has like a great support system too. If you get lost, or ask in the group. Typically, you're going to want to change your shipping zones to only where you ship to. If you ship to like the United States and Europe, and you can set up different zones, and then you'll want to choose, if you're doing weight-based shipping or order-based shipping. I really like to do order-based shipping, so that would be things like they call it price-based shipping. So this would be something like free shipping. If I want to do like free shipping for orders over $50 or something, then I would literally just say, I would click the rate, free shipping rate, minimum order 50, and then change the name to free shipping and click done. So anything over $50 and up, they would get free shipping. And then you can add like your standard shipping. And of course you can have different shipping prices depending on where they are in the world. So maybe my Canada shipping is more expensive than people in the US or whatever the case is. So minimum order would be 0 and the max would be 50. And then I could say maybe it's like $3 shipping. Okay, so then you have your 2 shipping rules. You can also do weight-based. So if you wanted to do, between 0 and 11 pounds, it was $10, and then anything, 11 to 45 was 20 or whatever. Same thing. I don't recommend having price and weight. I would typically choose one or the other. And then to delete that, you would just obviously click the X, and you're good to go. And that's sort of like how you set up your shipping. And then of course always save. I'm just leaving because I'm not actually building a page right now. And you don't need to worry about like shipping labels or anything like that, or any of this bottom stuff. So really you just want to focus on shipping rates at checkout. And if you want to update your shipping origin, you can, but it doesn't matter too much. So really, you just want to go through all the rest of this and set things up. If things don't make sense to you, feel free to ask questions, but it should all be fairly self-explanatory. So let's talk about adding the Facebook pixel. First thing we're going to want to do is, again, click Online Store and then Preferences. And scroll down until we see Facebook Pixel. So again, the Facebook Pixel helps you create ad campaigns to find new customers that look most like your buyers. So this is an easy thing, but it's really, really important. If you get confused, you can always click how do I set this up, but I'll show you right now. It's really simple. So all we're going to do is go to our Facebook business page that we set up earlier. So business.facebook.com. And then where it says Business Manager, just click Pixels. And I've already gone in and set this up with a dummy account, so it won't have any pixels yet. So I'll just show you. So you should see something similar populate. You should see create a Facebook pixel. And again, this is telling you why we want this. So again, it tracks website activities so we can understand the actions people take after seeing our ads, track conversions and measure return on advertising. It helps us to improve our return. So Facebook will automatically deliver ads to people who are more likely to take action based on conversion data from our website. And then lastly, we can use it to reach new and existing customers. So we can show ads to people based on actions they take on our website. So for instance, if people are adding things to a cart, we can create lookalike audiences that match those similar customers and to try and get more customers. Okay, so all you're going to do is click Create a Pixel. And from here, you're going to fill out whatever you want to call it. So I would typically call it your store name's pixel and then add in the website URL. And then you're going to click Create. And then you're going to click Create. So you can see here I have the blackhead remover pixel already added. I have another pixel as well. I'm just going to add a new pixel. So I'll just click Add New Data Source, click Facebook Pixel. And in this case, like I said, I'll just call it Spag Pixel. Website, spag.io. Click Create. So now there are a few ways to install the pixel. Some are more complicated than others. So like manually installing it, or you can email the instructions to the developer. If you manually install it, you essentially just have to copy a bunch of code and paste it in your HTML header section. Luckily for us, because we're using Shopify, we can just choose to connect a partner platform. So if we click on this and click Shopify, watch how easy this is. So it's going to walk you through step by step. So first of all, I recommend turning on automatic advanced matching. It's an easy thing, but for e-commerce, it's great. This just helps to grow your audience size. If you want to read more about this, go ahead. So click Continue. And this is literally just going to walk us through what we've already done. So clicking on Online Store, so we can hit Continue. And then selecting preferences, we've already done that. So all you need to do is this step 2 here. Copy and paste your pixel ID. So literally just copy these numbers. And then you're going to go over back to your Shopify, go into Facebook Pixel, and you're just going to paste this number in. Click Save. And that's literally it. So now all you're going to do is click Continue. And then you can enter like your homepage URL and click Send Test Traffic. And if we click back, it will verify that it's active. So the pixel's there. We can click Continue. And right now, because we're brand new, that's it. The setup's complete. That's all there is to it. Now we can get so much valuable information when we start running paid ads. In a few modules, we'll look at that, and we're going to be able to just really, really hone in on our best customers. So this is a very simple thing, but it's extremely important. Do not skip this step. Okay, so we've installed our Facebook Pixel. We know why that's important. Next, we're going to look at Google Analytics. So similar steps here. The nice thing is if you get lost, just click on the how do I set this up, and Google will walk you through, and Shopify will walk you through as well. But again, we just want to start with analytics.google.com. If you don't have, if you've never set up an analytics account, it will ask you for a couple questions. It'll just ask for like your website name and things like that. And then you should land on a screen that looks sort of like this. So we want to track our website. You can set up an account name. So this can have like multiple tracking IDs in it. So this can be like, if you are starting a business with like different websites, you could call it like your business or whatever, rather than just like your website. For this, let's just call it spag.io because that's the website I'm using. And my website name is also spag.io. So these will be the same for me. My website URL is just spag.io. So you can then select like your category. So again, depending on what your niche is, it's up to you. I'm going to choose, I don't think they just have a generic e-commerce. No, they don't. So I'm going to choose food and drink because we want to make a spaghetti site. But again, whatever your niche is. And then you can choose your reporting time zone. So I can do like Canada and Toronto. And then this is just like agreeing to the data sharing. You can read through this if you want. I'm just going to leave them all checked. And then you're just going to click Get Tracking ID, okay? So from here, you'll need to agree to your country's terms of services and scroll through everything. Make sure it looks good. And then click I accept. And now it will create a new that property for you, and it's just loading up my tracking code. So this is your tracking ID right here. This UA 139961 blah blah blah. Yours will be different than mine. So come in and click save. And then we'll just want to check this use enhanced e-commerce. Just because we're in e-commerce, this will just help with like funnel tracking, and we'll click save. And that's it. That's it. That's all you need to know. That's how you add Google Analytics and Facebook Pixel to your e-commerce site. And then obviously now if you go like home, this will start showing you some data, and you can do like real time and get an overview. So if people are like on the site, you'll know. So for instance, if I go to the website now and then come back, and there's a little bit of delay, but you can see right there, it shows up that one person is on the site, and obviously that's me. And then you can check by location. You can see I'm in Canada, and click in further, you can see where I am right now. If you know where that is, come say hello. And then you can also see like traffic sources and things like this. So you can see how powerful analytics is, because as you grow your site, you'll start to be able to understand like your audience a lot better. And then you can look at like your acquisition and your behaviors and your conversions once you start getting some sales. So this is why we added the e-commerce stuff. We can get more targeted and understand sort of how the e-commerce funnel is looking from an analytical standpoint. Okay, so that's everything in this one. Short and sweet. Hope it makes sense. Hopefully this video was helpful. I know it's a lot, but if you go through it step by step, you should be well on your way to launching your first e-commerce store. Congratulations. Like I said in the beginning, if you need more guidance or hand-holding, be sure to check out our in-depth course and join our private Facebook group. See you in the next one.